destruction at the end of it all. Okay? But like I said, the true men of the Most High are going to bring this word out and to condemn the world.
That's right.
Okay? Go on. What you wanted to say, brother?
Oh, no, I just have to say
Yeah, read that. Oh, you had something.
Okay. So, this is Proverbs 27:5. Open rebuke is better than secret love.
Right, and that's another thing that we do, because we also rebuke 2/3 of our people to let them know the deal. Look, y'all gotta repent and stop committing adultery. Stop sleeping around with other men's wives. Stop eating crab. Stop eating shrimp and lobster. Stop being so of a simpleton. Okay, and repent back to the Heavenly Father before it's too late. Because when the rough gets going, man, there's no turning back. Because Jake like to play the lastminute.com, man. Okay, that time is going at the last minute. No mercy. It's not going to exist anymore. The doors of mercy are going to shut from now on. Now we're in the time of mercy, but that door's pretty much going shut. Damn near shut. Go on, brother.
John chapter 8, verse 37. I know that ye are Abraham's seed,
Right.
but ye seek to kill me because my word
Because
have
of
no
my
place
words
in you.
have no place in you. What is his word? In other words, the truth, man. There was no truth that was in there was no truth in him. So when there's no truth in you, you will get offended of the truth, because you're not of the truth. You're of folliness. You're of the foolish wisdom of him. Okay, or even at that time, if you were back then in the reincarnation. So we're all about standing upon the truth, and this is why we're so level-headed in our day-to-day lives, because we see everything for what it is, not for what we wanted to see it as. Okay? So it's all about reverting back to the truth, which stabilizes all things. Okay, which stabilizes you as a person, as a man. And this is why people out here that run drugs, they run all kind of medication, and the reason that's why is because they don't have no truth in them. And I'm talking about the truth which was created of the earth, the wisdom understanding that was created of this earth. Once you have this right here, you stable-minded, you good. Go on.
43. Why do ye not understand my speech?
Right,
Even because ye cannot hear me, my word.
right.
Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do.
Right, go on.
He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him.
Because there was no truth in him. And that's why he was gainsaying against the truth. That's why he was offended of the truth. Who was Sean talking about, brother? Let's read up a couple of verses.
He's talking to the scribes and Pharisees.
Right, the scribes and Pharisees. Because the scribes and Pharisees, they were set up by the Roman government. So the scribes and Pharisees, as well as, they knew the truth, but they didn't want to follow the truth, because if they had to follow the truth, that means they would have to lose their mighty position that was given by the Roman system. Okay? And they neglected the truth just so they can be in a reverence, or a temple sort of reverence at that time. Okay? But not taking heed thereby to the everlasting reverence, the glory, which is the scriptures, which would then lead to that.
A precept up. Luke 6:24. But woe unto you that are rich, for you have received your consolation.
Right, it says, woe unto you that are rich now, for you have received your consolation. Go on.
25. Woe unto you that are full, for ye shall hunger.
Yep.
Woe unto you that laugh now, for ye shall mourn and weep.
All right.
Last one. Woe unto you that when all men shall speak well of you, for so did their fathers do to the false prophets.
Exactly. So the point of the matter is what the brother just read there says, woe unto you that are full, ye shall hunger. So what you want to be at this present moment, you want to be in a law situation so that later on you could be exalted. That's what you want to be. In other words, and another thing too, you want to be hungry for the word of the Lord, not hungry for trying to get a good job out here, or try to make a name for yourself. You want to be a footballer. You want to get into all kinds of sports and stuff like that, which that would then give you a glory for a temporal moment in time. But then when it's all said and done, when this society hits rock bottom, you're gonna go right down with the society. Okay, when you think about Mike Tyson and Leonard Stewart and all of these different cats that did their thing in this world, made a name and they made a mark in this world. When this society goes down, they're going down along with it. And like I always like to say, and I ain't said this in a long time, Everything that these jakes have done on this side, and I'm talking about these prominent jakes, will not be remembered in the kingdom. Okay? What's going to be remembered in the kingdom is the works that we did.
That's right.
And guess what? And the 2/3 and those that were prominent in this life, they're going to be reverenced because they're going to have to bear the name of the elect of what we did. They're going to get their fame through us. All right? Go on, bro.
Yeah, Jeremiah 17 verse 13. O Lord, the hope of Israel, all that forsake me shall be ashamed,
Right.
and they that depart from me shall be written in the earth, because they have forsaken the Lord, the fountain of living waters.
And even those that fell out of the truth, it's going to be remembered on how they came into the truth and fell right back out of the truth. That's going to be also inked etched in stone as well. Go on, bro.
When you're written in the earth,
Your phone has no SIM.
anything that's written in the earth, the sand will come and wash it away. And it won't be remembered ever again. But now this is the same chapter, verse 7. Blessed is the man that trusteth in the Lord,
Right.
and whose hope the Lord is.
Right.
For he shall be as a tree planted by the waters,
Right.
and that spreadeth out her roots
Right.
by the river, and shall not see when he cometh,
Right.
but her leaves shall be green, and shall not be careful
Right.
in the year of drought, neither shall cease from yielding fruit.
Never will they cease from yielding fruit. In other words, that tree is going to remain. What is it? It's going to be an immortal tree. And that's what we're likened unto. Matter of fact, since you're talking about that, get Luke 14, brother. You know where it talks about if a man that doeth what the Lord says. It's likened unto a, what is it, a building that when the rain came, it never came down, something like that. There's one in Luke 14 as well. And that's why those who says in Matthew 23, it says, the world and the world shall pass away, but my word will always be there. Roughly paraphrasing. So if we remain in the world, we're not going nowhere. Okay? And this is why Esau can try to take us off the street, but we'll be right back on the street if the Lord allows it.
Yeah.
Because this is a counsel not of men, but of the Heavenly Father. Yeah, it's in Luke 14, and I believe you can start from verse 19. It's in Luke, brother. It's in Luke 14. Yeah, it's in Luke. There's one in Luke. Let me see, brother. This is 14. Yeah, let me see, brother. I can't see right now. No, it's not even. It's not. I thought it was in Luke 14, but that's talking about if the building didn't finish. That's talking about something else. You know, but like the scripture says, the scripture talks about how a man that does the Father's will is likened unto a man, okay, or as a building that never falleth when the wind bloweth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, go
Okay,
ahead.
yeah, go on, bro.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
Matthew 7,
Yeah.
verse 24. Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man,
Right.
which built his house upon a rock.
Right,
And the rain descended, and the floods came,
right, and the floods came, going.
and the winds blew, and beat upon that house, and it fell not.
Right, and it fell not. So when the mighty winds came through, in other words, devastation and the destruction came through, hey, we're still in a certain position where we're at with the Lord.
Yeah.
Okay, we didn't fall from grace. That's why it says that Jacob should not, wax proud. In other words, be ashamed of himself. That's what the word proud means. It means to be ashamed. So it says Jacob will not wax, will not be ashamed. In other words, the elect, the men of the Lord that come out here and preach this word. And it also says that we will not be confounded. All right? So let's keep going.
They say, and there ain't
They
descended.
want a man, man. They want a man so bad.
Yeah, you notice.
They need a man, man.
Yeah.
They want a man really bad. It's going to get to the
Why
point.
did she come over and say, yo, like you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're still looking, yeah. They're still looking. Yeah, she wants that rod of correction. But I don't want her right now, man. I'll get her in the kingdom.
That's right. That's the same mentality I got.
That's it right now,
This is my
man.
woman, man.
Yeah, I ain't really got time for that, man.
Yeah, because the brothers are disappearing. Bro.
What's that, brother?
Brothers are disappearing. They're becoming more feminine. So back in my day, men were more tougher. Like they look more tough. Nowadays, they got colour in their hair, stupid hairstyles, tight jeans. They look all weird. So it's difficult to find that manly, like ancient-looking men. Bro. You know what I'm saying?
It's like a
Famine of men, of Israelite men.
yeah, that too. You know, this precept that talks about how a man will be fine gold. That's like
That's how it's
another.
gonna be.
Come,
You're gonna get the woman your dreams are staring at you.
easy, yeah.
Type of tribulation.
And you too, brother. All of us. Yeah, go on, bro.
Let's say, and be upon that house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. Everyone that heareth these sayings of man,
Yeah, that's very true what the brother said, man. That's very true. It's kind of hitting in my mind because when you see a group of young men today, the average man is very effeminate, man. When you look at us, we got the beards, and the beards are rough looking, the hairs all over the place and stuff like that. And we just got that look of testosterone, man. And you don't see a lot of men look like us. And holding it together, we're confident in the word of the Lord. You don't see that too often.
Yeah.
So it's like you find the gemstone, the precious stone. Almost. It's true. Go on, bro.
for it was founded upon a rock. And everyone that heareth these sayings of man,
Yeah.
and doeth them not, shall be likened unto a foolish man,
Right.
which built his house upon the sand.
Yep.
And the rain descended,
Yep.
and the floods came,
Yep.
and the winds blew,
Yep.
and beat upon that house,
Right.
and it fell.
And it fell.
And great was the fall of it.
Right. So everything that they did, and they as a person perished. And that's just the only thing you find out. What you find out is it's only one way. And the one way is the way in the path of Yahawashi. It's only one way. Okay, and that's the straight way, the straight way. That's in the same chapter, Matthew 7. So, there's many ways and there's many paths you can follow. But all of those paths are going to lead to death when it's all said and done.
Try to come in some other way.
Right. This is the only way, baby boy. Okay, so yeah, brother, give me that in Matthew 7. You know the straight way. All right.
The same chapter, verse 13. Enter ye in at the straight gate. For wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction.
Right, and you can't climb up the gate another way. There's only one way, and you gotta go before the main shepherd that leads the sheep, which is Yahawashi. But the straight gate now is a path of difficulty. The word straight means a position of difficulty. Okay, so that's why it also talks about that. It talks about the broad gate, which many entered therein, pretty much led to the destruction. And the few that found it, matter of fact, read that verse again, brother, one more time in Matthew 7.
7 and 13. Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate,
Right.
and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction.
So all of these people that you see walking up and down right before us, they're walking in the broad way, which is the way of this world. Go on. What? Yeah, keep on. And then you can get your precept later.
And many there be which go in thereat,
Yep.
Because straight is the gate,
right?
and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life.
Right, and narrow is the way which leadeth to life. So the narrow gate, which is what we're in, the straight gate, which is the position of difficulty, is going to lead to our salvation. And this is why this being in this truth is not an easy thing to be. You had a lot of guys, like I like to always mention, that came in the truth. Thousands of men came in and fell out because they couldn't bear being in a position of difficulty. They wanted some kind of glorification, or they felt as though the truth was supposed to just be about them. Okay? Or try to get up as high as the apostles are. And they fall right to the wayside. They do it for a while and they pretty much flipped out. That's in Matthew 13, man. So the guy that you want to be the guy that gets your exaltation in due time, man. Just, keep it basic, stay grounded to yourself, and everything will be all right, man. And if the Lord feels the need to exalt you, he'll exalt you, but don't force the waters. Because if you force the waters, that means that the Lord is going to take your ass out of the truth. Okay? And you're going to be out there along with these idiots out here in this world that's going to be reserved for destruction and damnation. Okay? Go on, brother. Like the guy that was down with the brothers in Texas. He was the leader of that camp. Okay, brothers called him Element. And that guy, man, and I'm gonna even say it myself, that was a mighty guy right there in the knowledge. He was mighty in the knowledge. Okay? But he put himself in the same seat of the apostles as well. Because I watched the sit down and he was sitting right next to the apostles.
Oh, Grumpy Knuckles.
Right, him.
That's what we call him now. That's his name now.
That's his name now. And it just goes to show you.
Grumpy Knuckles.
That's his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show you again, also reverting back, because he he had all this knowledge, but he didn't have the scripture in mind. And the scripture is this: is that never take the high seat. If you take the high seat, then matter of fact, brother, can you please give me that? You gotta get that scripture. Where's that? I think that's in Matthew 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody, you got your phone on you, right? Alright,
He's online on phone. Anybody online on phone? Online.
Yeah, because one thing you don't want to do, you don't want to take the high seat. In other words, you don't want to boast yourself up in a high position.
Yeah.
Forcing the waters by your own will. What you want to do is be the low guy. Play the low guy first, and then if the Lord deals with you, you'll get that. Okay? And that's another reason why a lot of guys have came in this truth and fell out. Because they took the high seat, they got too big for their britches. They got too big-headed, and they walked out of it. What's that, brother? Oh, Matthew 23, verse 12. You get Matthew 23, verse 12.
Yeah, Tahar mentioned that Grumpy Knuckles guy, his YouTube channel now, but he used to say, because him and Tahar was alright at one time, Apostle Gabar, and he said that, he used to say, before I was in this truth, I had the 90% truth.
Right.
And then I got the, and he was always, Gabar used to say to him, you need to be more humble, have some humility.
Right.
And he wasn't listening.
Right.
So he said, nah, this is the example now, and that's what they use now as the example of somebody who said that they knew a lot and they had 90% truth, didn't humble down.
Yep, exactly. So that's just the thing, man. You don't want to be like that guy, man. Like the brother Kazak put him out on First Street to warn other guys, look, you don't want to be like that dude. Because that dude, man, he had a whole camp. You see them brothers in Texas, that's a big ass camp, man. He was the head of that whole entire camp. And he had all of the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Like the brother Kazak said, he was like a walking thesaurus or dictionary. Woo! You see that? So he was on that level. But look where he's at now. All bugged out his mind, talking shit, talking about geometric cultish, just talking nonsense, man. You can see his face, it's just, his demeanor, his countenance is just drawn, man.
Yeah.
Go on, bro. Yeah, we're the Israelites. You know who we are. Yeah, read that, brother. 23 and 12.
Luke 14, verse 8. When thou art bidden of any man to a wedding, sit not down in the highest room.
Right, exactly. Go on.
Lest a more honorable man than thou be bidden of him. And he that bade thee and him come and say to thee, give this man place, and thou begin with shame to take the lowest room.
Right, and that begins with shame to take the lowest. In other words, the master of that house, he'll tell you to pretty much take the lowest seat.
Somebody else is more honorable
Than you. Exactly. So you want to do is you want to play the low guy first.
Yeah, right.
It's not always about trying to be the high guy, man.
That's Jake.
And that's what Jake want to do. Jake want to be on top of everything. But we're gonna be on top when the kingdom is set up. Right now, we gotta play the servant like our forefather Jacob did. Okay, to Esau. Once we play that part, because this is nothing but chess. This is a game. This life is nothing but a game. So right now, when you look at our people, they're in a lower predicament right now. They're in the hoods. They're a bunch of nobodies. Keep it real. Okay, in the eyes of the world, I'm saying. But when the kingdom of heaven is set up, all of these nations, they gonna do this.
Right.
See, we're nobodies right now, right? But this is what they're going to want them doing. When it's all said and done, I'm talking about Esau, I'm talking about Ishmael, I'm talking about different Hamitic nations. I'm talking about, who else am I talking about?
Moab.
Ammonites, Moab, all of them nations, man. They're all going to bow before the nation of the Heavenly Father. And that's what they're going to do. So it's best to be, as the society will say, nobodies right now, to be glorified, highly glorified, magnified.
Proverbs 3 verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor,
right,
and choose none of his ways.
Exactly. So if you see Esau riding a Rolls Royce or BMW, whatever, and you barely making it, living paycheck to paycheck, most chicks are anyway. Don't worry about that, man. As long as you got this truth, everything will be added unto you. It says, seek first the kingdom of the Most High, and all of these things will be added unto you. That's the first thing right there. You see that? Go on, bro.
Psalms 37 verse 1. Fret not thyself because of evildoers,
Right.
neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity.
Because that's how they got their riches. How did Esau get their riches? They got their riches by committing evil. Okay, robbery, thievery. That's really how they got all of that. And I'm talking about these different corporate companies, like the drug companies. They make money of people being sick. Okay? But going back to the base, or the base of the society, or the whole of the society really begun by the bloodshed of our people. That's how Great Britain became great. This is how America became great. It was because of the backs of us and the bloodshed that was shed. Okay? That's the truth. You see, the way we're getting back our glory and the way that we're going to get back our riches is by righteousness, unlike Esau. Go on, brother.
Against the workers of iniquity,
I remember being
but they shall soon be cut down like the grass and wither as the green herb.
Yeah, because the Most High set these nations up. I take care. You too. You know? It's nice to see you two couples, man, sometimes, man.
Yeah, no,
that's a beautiful thing, man.
It's an old vision.
Yeah.
Some things that once existed. But it will exist in the kingdom again.
That's a beautiful sight, man. You don't see that every day, man. No. You know? But you're going to see that in the kingdom. You're going to see Jake with their wives and their children, man. Because all you see nowadays, a lot of these young idiots, these young Jakes, they ain't trying to rock out like that. They just their own individual, sleeping from one man to the next man.
That's class. That's class.
But that shows class right there.
That shows class. See, our people, they don't know class. They're not very classy. This world star hip hop got our people in a low vibration.
And it's this rap too. It's that too, brother. It's that too, but it's this rap music too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The whole vibe, the whole world star hip hop vibe.
Yeah. That whole club music bullshit, man. And that's what's got everybody, all these youngins, in a lower situation. Now we're young men too. Although we're going on 30, but we're still relatively young men.
Yeah, but
we're talking about
ancient spirits though come back.
Yeah.
So you're not really.
We're talking about these early 20 guys, man. These teenagers, man. They're bugged out their mind. They have no structural mind. They're not grounded as we are. We're like the last of those that's got sense, pretty much. But anyway, we're gonna revert back to this.
Where is it?
Yeah, you was in
Where?
Yep.
Reading on from verse 9. And he that bade thee and him come and say to thee, give this man place,
Right.
and thou begin with shame
Right.
to take the lowest room.
And you would be ashamed of yourself because here it is, you going up there to the highest room thinking that you are right and you're going to be accepted. But if somebody else comes that is more honorable, you'll be embarrassed now. That's an embarrassed feeling that, you know what I mean? Like just the sense of how that feels. It don't feel too good. So it's best to just be, it's like for example, right? When the Passover was set up, I'm talking about the Passover 16 it was? The Passover 2016, both of us went to the Passover. So what I did was I went and sat down and sat all the way at the back. I didn't really want to sit at the front because I didn't really feel like I was worthy of sitting in the front. You know, but the elder, the brother required me. He said, look, come on in front now. Hold the camera, you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't feel worthy of sitting in the front. You know what I mean? So I just kind of sat to the back. The brother told me, look, go hold the camera, sit in the front and hold the camera. So that's showing you right there, you take the low seat, then it will lead to you being in the front seat. In other words, the Most High will exalt those that be abased.
Yeah.
That's really what this is saying. Go on, brother.
That's it. But when thou art bidden, go and sit down in the lowest room,
Right, exactly.
that when he that bade thee cometh, he may say unto thee, friend,
Right,
go up higher.
right. Friend, go up higher. That's what happened at the Passover.
Yeah.
So what I was doing without even realizing, I was fulfilling the scripture. Okay, and that just goes to show you if the Holy Spirit is rolling with you, you're always going to play the low route. You're always going to play the humble guy. You're not going to want to be, you know, all up on the YouTube, trying to get all kind of views in it and trying to get accolades and, you know what I'm saying, trying to promote the YouTube channel, trying to make a name for yourself. You ain't really trying to deal in that kind of spirit, man. You understand? Like when I'm around these people, man, I'm just low key. I keep to myself. I don't have no friends. I'm not walking around trying to please people, trying to be cool with people because I already got everything what it takes. Okay, I'm already comfortable in my own skin. And the reason why I can say that, because I have everything within. When you have everything within, you don't have to show off to nobody. But it's when you're hollow inside, when you have nothing of substance within you. That's when you feel you need to prove yourself to these people out there. But we don't have to do that because we possess all things. Go on, brother.
It says, then shalt thou have worship in the presence of them that sit at meat with thee.
Exactly, the high seat. So therefore you're going to be reverenced along with those that are in an honorable situation. I tell you what, brother, hold what you got. Because this is how the Lord works. All right, go on.
For whosoever exalteth himself shall be abased,
That's the point. Go on.
and he that humbleth himself shall be exalted.
And that goes for Esau and all of these other nations, like I said already before. All of these other nations, they all inspire to be exalted. They all inspire for wealth, riches. Those, the things that is physical, to make them look good, but not realizing that the Lord giveth and taketh away. Okay? So if you have all of these goods, then those goods can be lost. But going back to the point, we want to be as brothers and servants right now. We want to be servant-minded right now,
Right.
so that later on we can be exalted. Okay? Go on, brother. You gotta be going, man. That was it, right?
Yeah, that was that.
Okay.
So even when you go into a job,
Yeah.
you don't become a manager.
Right.
Sorry, unless you get a manager job.
Exactly. It's a building block. You're building up. It's when you first get a job, you're just a basic worker. They're paying you, a low minimum wage. But then if you work for that company for a particular point in time, they'll raise your wages up in them. Okay, and you become a manager of anything, and you'll make the real money. Go on.
Ecclesiasticus 3, verse 18. The greater thou art, the more humble thyself.
Right, the greater thou art, the more humble yourself. And that's something that Solomon was. Solomon was an exceedingly humble man. And he had exceedingly amount of riches. Precious resources. I'm not talking about this paper fiat fund currency we got. That's changing every single time. I'm not talking about that because that ain't no money. Okay? That's what you call uncertain riches. I'm talking about gold, silver, bronze. Real substance that holds wealth, that holds its worth. It never changes nothing.
He didn't even dress flashy.
Right.
He said he wasn't even arrayed as the flowers of his field.
Exactly.
He wasn't even, Jake, likes to dress the floors, like loud. Solomon didn't dress up like that. He didn't need to. He was the king.
Exactly, because he already had that high position. He already had everything. And the reason why he didn't do it because he had the wisdom of the Lord, which is everything. So when you have so much wisdom all up in your heart, your mind, you don't really feel the need to really show off anything, man. You just keep it basic.
It's like Esau does that. Esau doesn't flash his shit. Esau keeps it basic.
Just keep it basic, man.
You already got everything.
Yeah.
Jake feels the need to flash it because he's got a low ego.
Right. He's got low self-esteem.
Yeah,
and that's why people like that, they always big up themselves forcefully because they got low self-esteem. But when you got a wisdom, the kind of wisdom we got, it boosts your self-esteem. That's why it says that knowledge and wisdom puffeth up. In other words, our self-esteem is level. Okay? Now we don't want to have too much of a high self-esteem because otherwise we'll be like Element, back in the world again, looking all bugged out his mind. So we got to level ourselves. Okay? But that's what this wisdom can do. It can balance it. Go on, brother.
The more humble thyself, and thou shalt find favor before the Lord.
Right, and thou shalt find favor before the Lord. And that's the ultimate of what we're seeking for. Is favor of the Lord. We're not seeking for the favor of men. Or trying to please other men. Trying to please women out here. We're seeking for the favor of the Lord. So the Lord can have mercy on us and that we can get a clean slate again. Because right now we're filthy right now, man. The scripture talks about how our righteousness is our mass filthy rags. So in other words, we need to be seeking for the Lord, not seeking for our own vain opinion of what we want to do, or seeking for the favor of mankind. Fuck all of that, because that don't matter. Okay? What matters is seeking favor of the Lord. Let's read that one more time.
So Ecclesiasticus 3 verse 18. The greater thou art, the more humble thyself, and thou shalt find favor before the Lord.
Right. And really, when you really check it out, we're already great men already.
Right.
What makes us great? This world. That's what makes us great. So we're already we're higher than everybody. And I'll even go as far as saying this too, which is true. We know more than the ancient prophets know. So we're in a far more greater position. And guess what? That means we have to really humble ourselves.
Wow.
Okay? We have to. Because the Lord can take us out. Any one of us can get taken out of here. And he made an example out of it. Like Element, again. Go on, brother.
We have to know more than our ancient foreparents because we need to understand the mysteries of this book. The seals need to be unlocked.
Right.
We're going into it last week. We need to understand the volume of this book to gain access to the kingdom.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is the keys to the kingdom.
Right.
How the hell can we believe in something that we don't understand?
Right.
Have faith in something, a gospel that we can't break down. We need these mysteries to understand it, to have faith in. You know? So that's why we needed Yahawashi to break it down, to give us that Holy Spirit.
Exactly. And that's the only way that we're going to be saved is by this word. So the whole thing we got to do is submit to the word of the Lord. And like I said, the glorification will come in due time. But if you are glorified, that really still shouldn't really matter because you're still in the hell. You're still going through this bullshit like that we have to do from day to day. Right? So really, we still shouldn't be seeking for the kingdom of heaven. And then once we got that kind of glory, now we can show and we can be proud. Because the scripture talks about how we're going to be proud against the nations.
Yeah.
There's a scripture on that. Okay? But right now, we ain't in the time for that. We got to get down and get dirty and put in this work. Yeah, so, what was you reading before?
Second thing.
Yeah, get that, come. And the work that we're doing, most of the work that we're doing is consuming the wicked with the spirit of the mouth of the Lord. Like the scripture says, in terms of having faith, moving a mountain. We're actually moving a mountain, like the brother Ariala said, which was a very beautiful